face. And Leroy was laughing and smiling, so I kind of wanted to get a critique from you, Leroy. What you think about your cousin's music here?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I play his records. My kids love it. Everybody loves it. I say he's a much bigger star in Texas than I ever thought about.
Oh, really? Really? Well, Robert, you're different. Don't you think it's a little bit different, Leroy, in his approach to country music? True?
Different, yeah.
What's different?
Well, coming in the side door, so to speak. Nick, you've written some great songs. Big stars recorded your songs that you've written. When you write a song, who's the first person you like to run to play for it to get some quick judgment?
Oh, my wife, Kathleen.
She a pretty good judge?
Oh, she's the best.
Doesn't it sort of make you distressed? When
Well, no, she's a no-nonsense sort of person. She just goes, that's a terrible song.
And just walks away.
And then I go, okay, fine. I used to get mad, but now I know it's a terrible song. So
She's pretty
we don't waste a lot of time.
Okay.
Well, you two, are you first cousins or
Second cousins.
Second cousins.
Yeah, our grandmothers were sisters.
Okay.
So does that make us second cousins?
I guess. I'm not sure about that
You're
sort of
definitely related. There's no question about it.
related in some way. So now, were you close growing up in Texas?
He lived in Stephenville. I lived in Houston, and I'd heard about Leroy all my life. I have this cousin that really plays the guitar great and stuff like that. And yeah, sure. And then I went, and then when I moved to Austin, I ran into Leroy, and I went, wow, he does play great. So kind of gave me some hope. Maybe one of those genes kind of slipped in there, but that didn't exactly happen with my guitar playing.
Well, so you got the songwriting in the
I got the recessive guitar gene.
So the two of you started really hanging out and getting to know one another when you were what, teenagers or something like that?
No, when we were in our 20s.
In your 20s,
Yeah.
okay.
I went to see Leroy, like I said, when I moved to Austin in my 20s.
It's weird. I mean, you would think that, you know, two guys being cousins, and our families, you got to understand, we come from a great family of visitors.
Visitors?
Well, I mean, we can visit better than just about anybody.
Uh-huh.
And visiting is an art that's starting to get lost.
Well, take us back to the good old days. How is visiting supposed to take place?
Visiting must occur. You correct me if I'm wrong, but visiting occurs usually at the kitchen table.
Right.
And there's coffee involved always. And in my family, usually cigarettes too.
Let's not forget the front porch.
Well, front porch is fine. Yeah, that's Sunday dinner, front porch. But the late night visiting, because our family, the Ellises, is where we're related. We were the second family to come into Menard County and Kimball County out there in southwest Texas. It's real pretty country out there where we're from. And they pretty much were responsible for settling that area out there. So Main Street's Ellis Street.
Well, what strange personality trait did each of you get from your ancestors? Something that you can really put your finger on.
Well, you know, I don't know. The thing that I always thought was my grandmother used to sit there and talk to us when we were children and tell us about I think, trying just to scare us to death. And she would tell us about men that rode horses that no one could ride, or they would, or somebody who had a dog that no one could touch except for one person. And then it got more gruesome as it went on, and she'd always end with this story about how there was this man that lived there in Menard who used to chop little children's heads off and bury them in the pasture, right? And then, it was pretty scary when you're a kid. And then she'd say, and if you think I'm crazy, you ought to see my sister Cap. That's his grandmother.
So the ability to do some storytelling was really agitated early, huh?
That was there.
I'm telling you, really, is great storytellers. And his grandmother, I loved his grandmother. Now, she lived, and I brought up the picture, she lived in the house they call the Hackberry Hotel, which was just a great big old house where everybody kind of grew up. I mean, but that was really your grandmother's house there. And I'd go visit her there, and she was scary. She had and all those women, my grandmother and your grandmother, and there was Alma, Thelma, Velma, Capitola, and Dulcie. That's right.
And the Bates Motels, right? I know the neighborhood.
But they were scary old broads, I'll tell you that.
That solves a lot of the mystery. Now we know why both of you are such good songwriters and storytellers with the music.
Well, I'll tell you that there was this vanity thing. We probably need to break to this, but we were talking about this earlier. His grandmother's hair was jet black, way up into her 80s. And my grandmother's hair was real red, way up into her 80s. And boy, you couldn't catch a gray hair on either one of them. Ever. Ever. That's why Robert Pack color.
There it is. We're all fisted off.
Fellas, okay. That was called Green Dog Honeymoon by Robert Earl King. More music from both of these crazy cats. Come up later.
Yes, we didn't catch Robert